faced with a predicament. Snow is getting all over my screen. It's going to get wet. I won't be able to even pause the video. So there are two ways the word narrative can be used. The narrative actually is everything that is going on, which includes the presentation of stats. That's one way of saying narrative. The other narrative, a narrative, their narrative, your narrative, is when you take those stats or the circumstances and you tell people what that means. And that second clause of what narrative is always a false pretense to go forward with policies or legislature. A narrative, as it pertains to the second clause, your narrative, my narrative, a narrative, where you're telling people what the stats mean, that's not what an interpretation means. Interpretation is like French to English. It's not when you change what the substance indicates. It's not when you haggle over the significance or the meaning. An interpretation never demeans something or raises something up or stresses anything. Interpretations merely convert from one format to another format without implicating the significance of the statement that's being made. The narratives that they're promoting concerning all the COVID stats are 100% completely false narratives for all of their policy making and all of their legislative agendas. They actually have no right to force you to take a vaccine. You have that liberty that they can't force you to do anything. And that is completely uncomparable to being detained for crimes, which they can't call it a crime for you to be unvaccinated, and forcing you to pay taxes, because there's ways that go around. It's complete bullshit if they think that they have the right to deprive you of your liberty and force you to take a needle. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that some people are so stupid they'd say that stealing taxes is something that you can't do, so we can force you to give you a needle. If you're working with money, it has ins and outs, it's a currency, you choose with your liberty to participate in money, you're not forced to participate in money, and if you steal the taxes, that's a crime. You do not have the freedom to steal the taxes. It's super simple, and I'm really annoyed by dumb people. You have the liberty to not take a needle, and so they must treat you equal, and they cannot treat you as a criminal for not having a needle and inject you with a needle as some legal penalty or reprimand for your conduct of not being vaccinated, because they can't force you to be vaccinated, because they can't take away your liberty. They don't force you to pay tax. They charge you for theft and then they take it from you because you have no right to it. And when you go to prison, they don't force you to go to prison. They apprehend you and they put you in prison for your criminal conduct. And that criminal conduct is not criminal simply because someone says that it's criminal. It's because there's a judiciary process that guarantees that it doesn't affect your liberty. Peace.